For that. Good morning, Sam. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Paul Gallo. How are you?
Sinbad's been around for a long time.
He has, and I've known him for a long time.
Oh, have you?
And he is just that funny in real life.
Did he just kind of disappear for a while?
Yeah, he had done a couple of series and a couple of feature films, and then I think he just got tired.
Yeah. First of all, before we even get started, I mean, is the excitement brewing a little bit from Mary?
Yes, it is.
It's getting close now.
Mary Haskell is starring in Light in the Piazza tomorrow night at 7:30 at the Ford Center and Sunday afternoon at 3. And this show is magnificent. It's not only a great showcase for Mary, who's got the most amazing voice, but all these other students, graduate students at Ole Miss and the Opera Theater Association have the most amazing talents, and they're sharing it all. And all you have to do is put down $20 and go see it. It's an amazing show.
Well, you can't fit that into two? You can't? Okay, we'll move it to a little programming on the air here. I wanted to stick Mary in on the closing bumper. He tells me it's 2 seconds more than I need. You're kind of ticky over there. You can't work with that?
It's not me.
It's the computer. Can't you talk to the computer?
I've been talking to the computer for damn near 25 years.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just move it back to the other spot there, and we'll take care of that.
There you go.
You just knocked out Herman's Hermits, but that's okay.
Peter Noon will live.
Peter Noon. Peter Noon, what a name from the past.
Listen, my understanding is it's almost tickets are available, but not many.
Tickets are available. You can still get good seats in the orchestra and the parterre and up in the balconies, but most of the orchestra is gone, which we're very grateful about. And the show is just remarkable. And I have to tell you, Adam Gettle, the Tony-winning composer of Light in the Piazza, came to Oxford a couple of weeks ago and worked with the cast and, loved Mary and loved the cast and what they're doing with his piece and said it's one of the best productions of it he's ever seen. So that's from the composer.
You can take this on the road?
I don't think there's time on the Haskell calendar to take anything on the road, but it's there for everyone to come see this weekend around the Rebels playing Vanderbilt.
How about that?
So
therefore, no Saturday performance.
No
Friday
Saturday.
And Sunday.
Friday,
Saturday,
and Sunday.
So you can go over Friday, enjoy it, or go over Saturday and enjoy the game and then stay over to Sunday.
Stay over until Sunday. And this all celebrates the 100th birthday of Elizabeth Spencer, who wrote the novella Light in the Piazza that the feature film was based on with Olivia de Havilland, and then the Tony-winning musical.
When's the last practice?
Tomorrow, probably right before.
And God bless her if she's listening. Why would you do that? You're making me even more nervous now. So.
She's a pro. She can do anything. Mary Haskell can do anything.
The phone number to call is 662. This is the Oxford, the box office.
The box office at Ole Miss.
662-915-7411. And again, I tweeted that out early this morning. 662-915-7411. What time is it?
7:30 tomorrow night and 3 o'clock on Sunday matinee.
There you go. And it lasts about 2 hours?
About 2:15.
2:15.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Now let's turn our attention to November 28th.
Yes.
And that is 10 days from now.
Yes. Yes, it is.
I've seen, there was a great write-up in Deadline. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
The Walton family is back on the CW. What the CW stands for what?
Well, it's owned by CBS and Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
So they took the C from CBS and the W from Warner Brothers, and they formed this network. And it's become quite prolific, and it's in its 15th anniversary. And the really interesting thing is this is its very first television movie. And the president of the CW, Mark Pedowitz, is a very good friend of mine and has been for over 40 years, and we've always wanted to work together. And when I got the opportunity to bring the Waltons back, I wanted to do it with him because I think it needs that younger demo to bring it back alive. And I think that in today's marketplace, when you think about families watching things together, viewing habits are so diversified. And I wanted to create, again, something that families can watch together. And the Waltons was it in the 70s. Whenever the show would come on Thursday nights, I'd hear the music, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and we'd all rush for the living room to watch the Waltons. And so I'm trying to recreate that 50 years later. Are you satisfied you got pretty close to it? Or I did, and I'm going to tell you what makes me sure of it. We had the big premiere in Hollywood this past Saturday night, and we invited all the living members of the cast of the Waltons, of that original series, to come. And there were tears and cheers.
How about that?
And they said, we were very skeptical as to how we would feel about seeing this. We know that people that don't know the Waltons are seeing such a wonderful, wonderful program, but we were very skeptical, but no longer. This is beautiful, and we're so honored. Thank you. So that's all I needed to hear.
John Boy
Yes.
Walton.
Yes.
Richard Thomas. He's the only guy that's going to be in here.
He's the only guy
He's going to be narrating.
involved at this point. He is introducing the movie at the top for about 45 seconds and talking about the history of the Waltons and so forth. And then he is going to be the voice narrating of older John Boy looking back. This takes place in 1933 Depression-era Virginia. And Richard Thomas is going to be that voice of John Boy as an older man looking back.
You served as executive producer.
I did.
Any stories during the production of this that,
Yes.
that you can tell
Yes.
without ruining a career?
Yes, and it all has to do with snow, and we're shooting in Covington, Georgia, in 110-degree weather in June and July, and we have to make it look like a snowstorm is coming to completely devastate the area and to keep Daddy from getting home in time for Christmas. He has to, because of the Depression, he had to work 30 miles away in another town. And to create snow and heat like this is just virtually impossible. And we did it. And I defy anyone who watches this movie to not think we were somewhere in northern Canada shooting this movie.
You had to put the wind together with it?
We had to put the
'Cause it was a
wind,
blizzard.
the wind, and the blizzard, and you use these little ice particles and snowflakes that are biodegradable.
So these are not fabricated. I mean, like a
Not completely. Now, we had snow blankets on the ground, and we would cover like 3 acres, and then all around that 3 acres was
3 acres?
3 acres in snow blankets.
See, normally to cut down on costs, those lenses have real close up. They don't show that much.
No, I had to have scope in this picture. I had to make it look like we were out somewhere in the freezing cold tundra of the north, and then special effects and paintings and matte
How
paintings.
long did it take you to shoot this?
It took us about 4 weeks to shoot it, and then it took us about 9 weeks to do the special effects and the post-production and editing.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. More with Sam. Guess who has the best voice in the family? Mary Haskell.
I don't think there's any question. She's got an incredible voice. Our daughter has a great voice too. She takes after her mother, but I love that song. Thank you for playing it.
Thomas reflected on what the world was like when the original CBS series about faith and family aired, 1971 to 1982, which was a pretty darn good run.
A good run.
And while now is the perfect time to bring you back, he said when we did the series originally, this country, we were very split because it was all these issues going on. One of the great things about the show was that it brought people together. Young people could see the story about older people, and older people could remember their childhood. And I think some of that will happen on November 28th.
I think so. And that article that you're reading from was quoting Richard Thomas, who was the original John Boy. And it's so interesting, Paul, to talk to Richard and the original cast members about what was going on in our world at the time. And, I was a kid and I wasn't really paying attention to anything but, what time football practice was. And I really loved watching television. I was a child of television. And it is such an honor for me to be able to have a hand in bringing this iconic project back to the airwaves and hopefully turn it into more movies or a series.
We've changed so much, though, but you could actually get, when at the end of the show, whether it was Andy Griffin or Leave It to Beaver or whatever it happened to be, Father knows best, there was a moral at the end of the story. It left you feeling good.
Right.
And we just lost that somewhere.
We've lost that. And in this day and time, and none of us could have ever predicted what this 2 years of a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic, would do to all of us. I mean, I need to lose 30 pounds. That's what it did to me. But I'm telling you, we could not have known the emotional effects that this pandemic would have. And television is something that we all can relate to and we all can go to. And there's so many choices. But what I want to do is to create a choice that the entire family can watch together, because we just don't have that anymore. And with a moral, as you say, and with a lesson, and to make things relevant to today. This may be in 1933, but it's very relevant to today. We made a point of that.
And I always mentioned off the air that there was an article out there that showed CW may be a rival to the Hallmark channel as far as some of these movies. Is that just on holiday movies, or are they going into these family-oriented movies in a big way?
Well, this movie, The Waltons Homecoming, is the very first TV movie that the CW has produced in its 15 years on the air. And they are increasing their holiday fare a great deal. And Hallmark has the whole monopoly on holiday fare, but Netflix is trying to bring more in. Lifetime is trying to bring more in, and so is the CW. And I believe that Mark Pedowitz, my friend who runs the CW, knows what those audiences he entertains want, and I think he sees a window here where people need something like this to get by in their daily grind.
You have been involved in the business side of this for a long time. Dick Morris Agency all the way back.
William Morris Agency.
William Morris Agency,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Dick Morris.
Dick Morris.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I had a pain in my toe. I just...
I'll let you say Billy Morris. How about that?
The business side of this is just unique,
Yes.
though. Is there a curriculum in schools anywhere that helps if somebody wants to get into this?
You know, when you think about the curriculums that are offered at some of the finest universities in the country, there's nothing like on-the-job training.
Yeah.
And I think you can look at theories, and I think you can look at how ratings are computed, and I think you can look at, the costs that programming incur.
Yeah.
But there's no way to know how to put these deals together until you actually do it. And I am very fortunate in that I spent some 27 years at William Morris learning how to put deals together. So now I'm putting them together for myself as a producer, and it makes it so much easier. But I also know all the tricks, and I know all the games.
I was going to say, because they're not easy. Just for something to get to the point where the camera's going, takes months and months, if not years.
It took me a year just to get from the point of saying, yes, I'm going to do this, to put it all together, and then to cast it and to find the right writer.
Was the script there, or you had to do this?
I had to go find the writer.
Wow.
And I knew who I wanted, and fortunately he was available. He's written a couple of things for me with Dolly, and I knew he had the heart for this. And
she doesn't even make a cameo in this, does she?
No, she doesn't. But we've got a big, Dolly and I have another big movie coming at NBC in 22, so we'll be together
How
again.
many times will her Christmas movie be played this season?
It will be played. Well, see, we have two, the Little Dolly movies, Coat of Many Colors and Christmas of Many Colors, and they've already aired 8 times each over the last 6 years, and they're airing again on NBC this year and next year. So a year from now, they will have been on the air 10 times each, and that creates the perception of a perennial, and that means that people want to see it every year.
I think to circle back to what we just said as far as how do you get ready to get into this industry, become a lawyer and also get a business degree, and then you can go from there.
If I were going to advise young people, and I've said this in many a speech at many a college, get your degree in English or history and a minor in business.
Ah.
And if this is what you want, learn that first. And so many people come into it without any knowledge of English or history. And to know material and to know history and to understand the business that you're going into, it's essential. But then to understand business, and I wish I had been told, because I had to just double quick jump in and, swim, sink or swim, and I fortunately was a good swimmer, but I learned it pretty quickly. But I would have loved to have had the advice of what curriculum to have looked at before I got there.
But all those mistakes paid experience.
Yes. Yes. And experience is everything. Everything.
The set itself, does it duplicate the original?
No. In fact, I did a big press tour last week in Los Angeles, and one of the questions was, are you using the original Walton house? So you're right in line, Paul, with what a lot of people are wondering. The original Walton house was torn down decades ago. And so what I needed to do, because we were shooting in Georgia, was find something that looked like it. So I was looking at every clapboard, 2-story, 30s Depression kind of home with, little porch in the front and upstairs, because the key for me was to be able to do the Goodnight John Boys and Goodnight Mary Ellen's. And I had to have the upstairs windows so that I could have 3 windows at top and 3 windows on the bottom, that the lights would go out as each one said
shot
goodnight.
is critical.
It's critical, and I had to have that. But I think the house is close enough that it gives you the feeling of what the original Walton's house was.
I love this question on C Spire. So how did you get the vapor out of the cat's mouth? Just curious. We were talking about that. William in Greenville.
You pay for it, William. You pay special effects people to create that, especially if you're shooting wintertime in July. In Atlanta.
I was asking a couple of more questions here, but most of them are the people on C Spire. They're looking forward to this one, and again, it's going to be
November 28th from 7 to 9 Central Time.
2 hours.
It's 2 hours, a 2-hour movie, and it's going to re-air. They're already predicting it's going to be successful, so it's going to re-air again on December 11th in the same time period.
Some of we talked about all of this and how to get this up and how long it takes to do this and to do the script and everything else, but then there's the situation, can you sell it?
Right.
Do you have commercials in it? And that's the big deal to pay for it.
Would you like to hear a little story about that? Do we have time to hear a little story about that?
We got about a minute.
Okay. One of my best friends is Kathy Ireland, who back in the 70s and 80s was supermodel. She's now running a billion, with a B, $1 billion branding business. And so when I was putting all this together with my agent hat on, I went to my friend Kathy Ireland and all her advisors, and I said, how would you like to be the presenting sponsor of the Waltons Homecoming on the CW? And they jumped at it because it fits her brand, her family brand with family products that she creates and sells. And the CW people were thrilled to death because it's just more income that's brought in. And so I was the hyphenate wearing every hat, bringing in sponsorship, cast, script, story, special effects, everything.
I'd go back to Mark and say, the salespeople get 20%.
Oh, I did. And you know what I did with the money?
Why am I not surprised?
And you know what I did with the money? Huh? I bought more snow.
I had $1,000 of breath. There you go. Sam's always good seeing you.
Paul, I love being here.
One more time on the Piazza.
Light the Piazzas this weekend at Ole Miss at the Ford Center, tomorrow night at 7:30 and Sunday at 3, starring Mary Haskell and the most incredible cast of young people at Ole Miss, and you don't want to miss it. It's really terrific.
Get your ticket, 662-915-7411, the box office at Ole Miss. Always good seeing you, sir.
Thank you, Paul.